Attempt number 4. Hi, well, welcome to Fun and Friends. My name is Avalon.
I'm Sabrina.
And I'm Jasmine.
And welcome to the channel. Did you forget your name for a second?
No, I wanted to make sure you were done talking.
Oh, yes, so I don't go on my rampage like I did the first time.
We tried recording and we talked for like 5 minutes and then we realized we weren't recording. So, yeah.
And somebody said a swear word on the second attempt, so we were trying to,
That was the third attempt.
Oh, was it?
No, second. This is the third.
The first time we didn't record, we didn't hit the record button. The second time we did the 5 minutes. The third time you saw it.
I guess it was the third time.
Maybe it is.
Either way.
Welcome back.
Okay.
They're hyped up on sugar. She had soda.
She had soda.
I know.
I had no sleep.
We had cookies.
I made cookies.
Hey, I didn't have sleep either.
I made snacks.
Okay.
I had to work all day.
I even had a half day, and I'm still like this. I'm like...
Well, it wasn't really a half day if you had to stay at work anyway till the full day.
That's true. Staff meetings.
Yeah.
Yay. Over stuff that really wasn't that relevant to me anyway. Yay.
Anyway, so Sabrina over here made us a lovely snack tray, so we've been munching. It was great. Very delicious. Very fancy snack tray.
I gotta step it up when we're at my house.
We make tea.
I do make tea at my house.
I
should make some like scones next time. I do have a huckleberry scone mix. So
we need to make that.
Yeah.
We gotta get some.
We gotta get cream. Yeah, clotted cream.
Let us know what your favorite snacks are in below. We would love to try them.
My favorite kind of snacks are the sneaky snacks.
Sneaky snacks.
I said that to my kids, and they were like, "What are sneaky snacks?" I was like, "Best kind of snacks."
Yeah, this is why they think
love
weird.
it.
But they adore me. I got the bucket filler award for my school. I am the school's bucket filler.
All right, so last
Smiles
chapter,
all around.
Agatha had the fairy godmother grant her a wish, and the wish was to be beautiful. And so Agatha didn't get to see herself, but she was walking around, smiling, feeling all beautiful and confident. And everybody was like giving her second looks and like, wow. And you guys are messing around. Rude. Just kidding. Anyway.
It's not like we haven't heard this like 2 other times.
And come to find out, she looks in the mirror and she finds out she hasn't changed at all. There was no change. So she got a rough lesson in beauty is not
vanity.
On the outside, but I mean, smiling and being confident and happy can make you seem a lot prettier.
I'm confident.
That Demi Lovato song stuck in my head now.
All right.
And to chapter 24, Hope in the Toilet.
Now, we were
It's actually hope in the toilet, not
does
hop.
hope go down the toilet, like you lose your hope, it gets flushed, or are they going to find hope in the toilet?
Hope down the toilet.
Did we have this conversation? I can't even remember it.
We did.
We started this conversation.
But we'll find out during the chapter.
This is true. Students at the School for Good and Evil thought magic meant spells, but Agatha had found something more powerful in a smile. Everywhere she went, she noticed slack-jawed stares and baffled whispers as she conjured sorcery deeper than students or teachers had ever seen. Then one day, on her way to the morning classes, Agatha saw she too had been bewitched, because for the first time, she found herself looking forward to them. Yeah?
Hold in your hair so I can see the picture.
Oh.
I was trying to see the picture.
It's like a weird sneaky
like a serpent,
mermaid thing.
Maybe it's a fancy toilet.
It's a snaky mermaid. It's a snaky mermaid. The other changes were just as sly. She noticed she didn't gag at the scent of her uniform anymore. She didn't dread washing her new face or mind taking a minute to brush her hair. She got so caught up in ball dance rehearsals that she jumped when the wolves howled at the end of class. And where she once mocked her good homework, now she read assigned pages and kept reading, entranced by stories of heroines and Who is this?
Agatha.
Okay.
Yeah,
She's enjoying her good lectures instead of doing the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Nice.
Entranced by stories of heroines who outwitted lethal witches, avenged their parents' death, and sacrificed their bodies, freedoms, and even their lives for true love. Closing her textbook, Agatha gazed out at the fairies decking the blue forest with starry lanterns for the ball. It was beautiful, really, really what good could do. She wouldn't have been able to admit it a few weeks ago, but now as she lay in bed aglow in the lantern, she thought of her room in Gaveston and couldn't remember how it smelled. Suddenly, she couldn't remember the color of Reaper's eyes, the sound of her mother's voice. Then it was 2 days before the ball. The Circus of Talents would take place the next night, and Pollux came around to the classrooms, head buried on a shell of not turtle, to announce the rules. I want cookie. What kind of cookies are these?
Those are pumpkin cheesecake cookies.
What?
Yeah.
I take cookie.
Oh,
Sorry guys, I take cookie. Pumpkin.
Sorry, add a whole thingy.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of picked over now, but
yeah.
she'd be fancy. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye, by order of the schoolmaster, for the school of good enlightenment and enchantment, and for the good of evil Just get on with it, Professor Anemone yowled. Pollux glumly explained that the circus is a talent competition between good and evil, where the top 10 evers and nevers would take the stage and present their talents at the end of the contest. The winner would receive the circus crown, and the theater of tales would magically move to the school. Of course, the theater hasn't moved in ages, Pollux sniffed, firmly entranced by now. But who's the judge? Beatrix asked. The schoolmaster, though you won't see him, of course, Pollux huffed. Now, as to attire, I suggest you wear the clothes of humble demeanor. Professor Anemone kicked his head out the door. Enough! Proposal is coming tomorrow, and the only thing that you should be thinking about is your prince's face. As the teacher circled the room, Agatha watched the girls accept the proposals with eyes closed, nose crunched in concentration as Pollux moaned outside.
Can you do that again?
Her stomach plunged. With her ranking, she'd definitely make the circus team. A talent show? She had no talents. Who would propose to her once she humiliated herself in front of the whole school? And if no one proposed to her, then you're a witch if you fail, Millicent reminded her when she couldn't see a face. Agatha spent all of Uma's class with her eyes closed, but all she could get was a milky silhouette that crumbled every time she reached for it. She slogged back to the castle, discouraged, and noticed a few students buzzing in the chair room. She saddled up next to Kiko. What's going? She took a deep breath. The angel-painted V on the wall was now defaced with violent streaks of red. Tonight!
Love it.
Not that you guys can read that because that is inverted, but it says tonight. Just trust me.
Mm-hmm. Trust the teacher.
I know how to read, okay? I promise. Unless I made up this whole book. I'm just kidding.
We've been improving this whole time.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Yeah.
Back to the book.
With your mouth full?
I was swallowing.
Okay.
Just be patient. What does it mean? Agatha said. That Sophie is going to attack us again, a voice answered. Agatha turned to Tedros in his sleeveless blue shirt, sweaty and glowing from swordplay. He suddenly looked self-conscious. Oh, sorry, I need a bath. Fidgeting, Agatha glued her eyes to the wall. I thought the attacks were over. I'll catch her this time, Tedros said, glaring at the wall beside her. She poisoned that girl. She's hurt, Tedros. She thinks you made a promise. It's not a promise if I made it under false pretenses. She used me to win the trial, and she used you too. You don't know the slightest thing about her, Agatha said. She still loves you, and she's still my friend. Blimey, you must have a better soul than me, because I don't know what you see in her. All I see is a manipulative witch. Then look closer, Tedros turned, or look at someone else. Agatha felt sick again. I'm late, she said, scrambling for the stairs. History's this way. Bathroom, she called back. That's the boys' tower. I prefer boys' toilets.
She's such a terrible liar.
She ducked behind a sculpture of a half-naked merman heaving for air. There you go. It was
a mermaid.
Not a
merman.
What did you call it?
It was like mermaid? It was a sneaky mermaid. I still think he's a stinky mermaid.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's like Ursula's eels.
Oh, poor Jet's Moonflip.
But now they have a body
There you go.
instead of creepy looking eyes.
Or like the Starbucks mermaid where her tail is just split in two.
There you go.
Symbol, Starbucks.
Okay, there we are. What's happening to me? Why couldn't she breathe around him? Why did she feel nauseous every time he was looking at her? And why was he staring at her like she was a girl? Agatha stifled a scream. She had to stop Sophie's attack.
Because she's a girl? Maybe.
She's
Potentially.
used to being ignored as the, dust bunny in the corner. Not look to and talk to you like an equal.
True. If Sophie
Very
recanted, if she begged Tedros for forgiveness, there was still hope he'd take her back. That was the happy ending to this fairy tale. Then there'd be no more strange looks, no more sick stomachs, no more fears that she lost control of her own heart. With students and teachers now swarming defaced walls, Agatha sprinted up to Merlin's menagerie, where the hedges were finally returning to their old glory after the fire. She raced to the last sculpture of young Arthur nestled in the pond, muscular arms pulling a sword from the stone. Bringing back some memories there.
For what?
Disneyland.
Oh.
I had to
Anyway,
pause there. Not a
I'm
great
out of
experience
this
at Disneyland.
conversation.
And did not have a good experience at Disneyland last time.
We had a very mean
Cast member.
Oh, recently?
Yeah.
That totally yelled at her for something that's actually okay to do.
Yeah.
So.
Really?
Oh, don't worry. I reported them.
I did not hear about this.
Yeah, it was, yeah. So, anyway.
Tell me
back to
later.
the-
Tell me later.
Anyway. Agatha flushed with horror and leapt into ice-cold water. "Let me through," she barked, storming up to her reflection on the bridge. "I have to stop Sophie before she..." Her eyes widened. "Wait, where's me?" A ravishing princess grinned back at her with dark, upswept hair and a magnificent midnight blue gown with delicate gold leaves, a ruby pendant around her neck, and a tiara of blue orchids. Guilt speared Agatha's stomach. She recognized that grin. "Sophie? Good with good, evil with evil, back to your tower before there's upheaval." "Well now, I'm definitely evil, so let me pass," Agatha ordered. "Why is that?" said the princess. "Because you still insist on that haircut? Because I am having thoughts about your prince. It's about time." "Good, so let me what?" Agatha scowled. "But that's evil. Sophie, he's your true love." The princess smiled. "I warned you last time." "What? Who warned when?" Then Agatha remembered the last time she was here. "He's yours." Her eyes bulged. "But that means you're definitely good. Now, if you excuse me, we have a ball to get ready for." And with that, Princess Agatha vanished from her reflection, leaving the barrier intact.
What?
That's your 6th piece, Kiko said, watching Agatha stab another slice of cherry pie.
I wonder why it's cherry.
Just because. Agatha ignored her and stuffed her mouth, swallowing away the guilt. She'd tell Sophie. Yes, she'd tell Sophie everything, and Sophie would laugh hysterically and put her in her place. She, a princess, Tedros, her true love. "You're going to eat that?" Agatha snarled.
I still can't believe this is like a child's book, like a children's book.
Right. This is supposed to be like, what, 5th
Fifth
to 8th
grade
kind of reading?
There's so many innuendos in here. It's just... Ugh.
Makes you wonder what other books you've read and things went...
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like rewatching Disney as an adult and you're like...
Oh.
Yeah.
They did not sneak that. Yeah.
We're like,
SpongeBob
oh,
is
wow,
like a huge culprit.
We're like, wow, Disney, like newer Disney movies have some like innuendos and things.
Mm-hmm.
But then we go back and watch old ones and we're like,
oh.
that's always been a thing. What?
That's okay.
Mm.
Take your time.
Pumpkin cheesecake, yeah.
So good.
So good.
Target.
You gonna eat that? Agatha snarfed a mouthful.
Love it.
She was getting a
love
character.
it. She was.
I was. "And I thought you were making progress," Keiko sighed, sliding over another piece. As she devoured it, Agatha refocused on sneaking into the School of Evil. During the first attacks, the teachers had besieged the good towers with anti-Morgriff's enchantments. Hey. Sensei figured Sophie was breaking in as a moth, frog, or lily pad, but Sophie had still found another way into good. There has to be another route, Agatha thought. Without thinking, she found herself hustling from the supper hall to a place where she went when she needed answers. Agatha immediately noticed the new addition to the Gallery of Good. Tedros's bloody trial tunic had its own case labeled Trial of the Century, alongside a brief account of Tedros and Sophie's ill-fated alliance. She could see dozens of fingerprints on the glass, no doubt the fossils of ogling girls. Nausea rising, Agatha darted to the school history exhibit. With dozens of maps tracking the additions of new towers over the years.
All I can think of is like the super obsessive ones where they have their face and fingers like, you can practically inhale his scent through the glass. I think that's dirt that fell off of him.
Yeah.
Want to hear something kind of gross that I learned recently?
Sure.
I don't know how appropriate this is, but we're gonna say it anyway.
When you're under 13 player years.
I mean, anyway, sorry, I'm a huge history buff, and I learned the other day that the gladiators didn't bathe, but they would take like a kind of a scraping tool and like scrape off the dirt and the
Their
sweat.
dead skin.
And the vendors outside of the Colosseum would sell it as perfume, and the noble ladies would use it as perfume, and they would use it for other things as well.
All right.
I learned this yesterday.
Okay.
Sorry, I like learning weird things.
Is this one of the random TikTok scroll things that we learn?
Maybe.
Out.
Maybe.
I need to do some research into if it's actually real, but I'm 99% sure it is. Because when I was at the Colosseum, I vaguely remember hearing something about that. But not about the using it for
Perfume or other things.
All right, let's continue our book. We're almost done.
Sorry.
We're almost done.
Agatha darted to the school history exhibit with dozens of maps tracking the additions to new towers over the years. She tried to study for a hidden passage, but soon her eyes bleared and she found herself drifting into the familiar corner nook. She moved past all the reader paintings to one with her and Sophie hollowed by a lake. Her eyes misted at the sight of them together once upon a time, the best of friends.
Did you sign into the email yesterday?
Yes.
Okay, I thought it was
in my
you.
car.
I thought it was you.
Because I got a car that can access YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And it starts with a T.
Yeah.
And ends with a
A.
She got a Tesla.
I got a Tesla. Boom, boom. It's my first new car ever. I love it. Okay, back to this. High in the schoolmaster's tower, the story would write their ending. How far would it take them from the sunlit shore? She looked at the painting next to it, the one in the row, the dark vision of children hurling their storybooks into a bonfire while flames and smoke and clouds devoured the woods around them. The reader prophecy, Lady Lesso had said. Was this Galvadin's future? Her temple throbbed, trying to make sense of it all. Who cared if children burned books? Why was Galvadin so important to Sadler and the schoolmaster? What about the other villages? What other villages?
Can I make a prediction?
Yeah.
If Galvadin burned all the books, would that like erase their whole realm? That'd be crazy.
I would think so.
It might.
Because that's the link.
Crazy.
That's a link right there.
Yeah.
So maybe he did.
Just a crazy theory. Okay.
Good one.
She had long dismissed the schoolmaster's words as an unfinished thought. The world was made of villages like hers, somewhere beyond Galvadin's woods, but why weren't they in this gallery? Why weren't their children taken? As her neck prickled red, her focus veered back to the smoke clouds closing in on all the painted children, because now she saw they weren't clouds at all, they were shadows, hulking in black, creeping from the burning woods into the village. And they didn't look human. Suddenly, her own shadow on the wall was growing, gnarling. Agatha whirled in horror. Professor Sadler, she exhaled. I'm afraid I'm not much of a painter, Agatha, he said, clutching a suitcase that matched his shamrock suit. Reactions to my new edition have been rather poor. But what are those shadows? I thought I'd check up after I found some thorns missing from the exhibition of evil. Sometimes villains act exactly as you'd expect. He sighed and headed to the door. Wait, why is that your last painting? Agatha pressed. Is that how Sophie and my fairy tale ends? Professor Sadler turned back. You see, Agatha, seers simply cannot answer questions. Indeed, if I were to answer your question, I'd age 10 years on the spot as punishment. It is the reason most seers look terribly old. It takes a few mistakes to learn how not to answer them. Thankfully, I myself have made only one. He smiled and started to leave again. But I need to know if Tedros is Sophie's true love, Agatha cried. Tell me if he kisses her. Have you learned anything from my gallery, Agatha? Sadler said, turning. Agatha eyed taxidermied animals around him. That you like your students well stuffed? He didn't smile. But every hero achieves glory, but the ones that do share something in common. Apparently, he wanted her to guess what that was. They kill villains? She said. No questions. They kill villains. Think deeper, Agatha. What links our greatest heroes? She followed his glassy gaze to royal blue banners drooped from the ceiling, each celebrating an iconic hero. Snow White encased in her coffin, Cinderella slipping into a glass heel, Jack slaying the towering giant, Gretel shoving the witch into the oven. They find happiness? She said lamely. Ah, well, I have stuffing to get back to. Wait! Agatha focused on banners and studied her mind. Deeper, beneath the surface. What did these heroes have in common? True, they all shared beauty, kindness, triumph, but where had that all started? Snow White lived in the shadow of her stepmother. Cinderella was a maid to two stepsisters. Jack's mother told him he was stupid. Gretel's parents left her in the woods to die. It wasn't their endings that they shared in common, it was their beginnings. They trusted their enemies, Agatha said to her professor. Yes, their fairy tales all started when they never expected it, Sadler said, silver swan glittering brighter on his suit pocket. After graduating from our school, they went to the woods expecting epic battles with monsters and wizards, only to find their fairy tales unfold right in their own houses. They didn't realize that villains are the ones closest to us. They didn't realize that to find a happy ending, a hero must first look right under their nose. So Sophie has to look under her nose, Agatha snapped as she walked away. That's her advice? I wasn't talking about Sophie. Agatha stared at him speechless. Tell them there's no need to worry, he said from the door. I already found a replacement. It was closed behind him. Wait, Agatha ran, throwing it open. Are you going somewhere? But Professor Sadler wasn't in the corridor. She sprinted into the stair room, but he wasn't there either. Her teacher had quite simply disappeared. Agatha stood between the four staircases, stomach sinking. There was something here she was missing, something that told her she had this whole story wrong. But then she heard words drumming in her head demanding her attention. Under your nose. That's when she saw it. The trail of chocolate crumbs up to the honor stairs. The specks of chocolate snicked up 3 flights of blue glass through a seashell mosaic of the dormitory floor and abruptly stopped in front of the boys' lavatory. Agatha put her ear to the pearl-encrusted door and lurched back to the 2 Everboys came out of the room across from her. Sorry, she stammered. That's the one that likes boys' toilets, she heard as they shuffled past. With a sigh, Agatha pushed through the door. The honor toilets looked less like a bathroom and more like a mausoleum with marble floors, frenzies of mermen battling sea serpents, urinals flushing blue water, and massive ivory stalls, each with a sapphire toilet and tub. Where the Ever girls' toilets were reeked of perfume, where they inhaled the clean smell of clean skin with a hint of sweat. Following the chocolate trail along the stalls and the wet blue tub, she found herself wondering which one Tedros had used. She burned beet red. Since when do you think about boys? Since when do you think about bathtubs? You've completely lost your... A sniffle from the last stall. Hello? She called. No response. She knocked on its door. Excuse me, a deep voice returned. Excuse me, deep voice returned, obviously fake. Dot opened the door. After a long silence, the door unlatched. Dot's clothes, hair, stall were peppered with chocolate shreds, as if she had attempted to turn the toilet paper into a sustainable diet and it succeeded only in making a mess. I thought Sophie was my friend, she blubbered, but then she took my room and made friends, and now I have nowhere to go. So you're living in a boy's toilet? I can't tell Nevers they kicked me out, Dot wailed, blowing snot into her sleeve. They'll torment me more than they already do. But there has to be somewhere else. I tried to sneak into your supper hall, but a fairy bit me before I escaped.
Poor Dot.
Agatha grimaced, knowing exactly which fairy it was. Dot, if anyone finds you here, they'll fail you. Better fail than a homeless, friendless villain. Dot sobbed into her hands. How would Sophie like it if someone did it to her? How would she like it if you took her prince? No one could ever be that evil. Agatha swallowed. I just need to talk to her, she said anxiously. I'll help her get Tedros back, okay? I'll fix everything, Dot, I promise. Dot's sobs softened to sniffles. True friends can make things right no matter how bad they seem, Agatha insisted. Even witches like Hester and Annabelle? Dot whimpered. Agatha touched her shoulder. Even witches. Slowly, Dot peeked up from her hands. I know Sophie says you're a witch, but you wouldn't fit in our school at all. Agatha felt ill again. I mean, how did you even get here? She frowned, picking chocolate crumbs out of Dot's hair. There's no way to cross between the two schools anymore. Of course there is. How do you think Sophie attacked you all those nights? Agatha yanked Dot's hair in surprise.
Ow.
Yeah.
What?
Oh,
What'd you say?
It wasn't about Tedros. It was attacking you.
Gosh. So maybe Agatha is her nemesis.
Maybe.
In those nemesis dreams.
Especially because she's growing stronger.
Well, the other thing too is she, her shadow princess self just reminded her that Tedros is hers, so...
He be yours. That's why he keeps picking you and why you keep thinking about him.
Yeah.
When you say, give me a sign, and they slap you in the face, and you're still like, where's the sign?
I'm looking for it. It's not the sign I asked for. Can I have a refund?
Actually, can I have it a second time just as reaffirmation?
I don't want that. I don't want that sign.
Reconfirmation.
Can I have the one over there? That would be great.
Reconfirmation. Yep.
All right, guys. Well,
let us know what you think about this chapter. Comment down below where we'll apply to them. Along with commenting your favorite snacks, we'll bring them into the next meeting that we have.
And then brag about them in front of you.
Yeah, that is a good choices.
Like, really?
Good choices. So yeah.
The crunch, 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 witch, crunch, crunch, crunch.
Hey, I usually am really good about not eating on camera, but those cookies, they were just going, Avalon, hey, I'm over here.
Come get me. There's one
okay,
more.
We're gonna be like, bye.
Do you want the last one? She took it.
I got it. You can have it. You can
I have more.
It. No, you're good. We're gonna go have dinner. We're gonna go have Korean barbecue.
Split it. Break it in half.
No, you took it. You touched it. No
Yeah,
takesy
you touched
backsies.
it.
No
You
takesy
touched
We don't
backsies.
even need to talk about how many things you've stolen bites of off of mine.
How
many germs of yours I've had unwillingly.
I just used
your.
I just used your chapstick too.
Yeah.
My God.
We're gonna eat the cookie.
Just eat it.
Alright, guys.
Sorry about all that. We'll see you next time, okay? Bye.
Cut.